All right, guys, here we go. Episode 5 of Hawkeye. There will be no Spider-Man spoilers tonight. I already saw it in the chat. There will be no Spidey stuff.
Is it episode 5? Or you have 3 on here, no?
No, I fixed it.
Oh, okay.
It's episode 5. We have one more. We're gonna get into
That's
it.
Just 6. Wow.
That's it. Yeah, right before Christmas. We'll probably have to. If
cram-
we break it down next week, we'll have to do it Thursday because Friday's Christmas Eve.
You're gonna cram a lot into this last episode, then, man.
Yeah. Matt from Pressable Defects, how you doing?
I'm not bad. It's been a busy week. We got Hawkeye, we had Spider-Man, which we're not talking about, but it's been a good week. It's been a good week for the MCU, I feel like, and I can't wait to talk about this episode. So let's do this.
I'll tell you, I said it to you. I didn't say it to Jem. Like, I watched this episode once, and I was like, all right, what the hell are we going to talk about? And then I watched it a second time. I'm like, ooh, there's a lot going on. Jem, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm beat, man. I'm super tired. I saw No Way Home today. That was a whole ordeal. I've read an omnibus. I recorded a video. I watched your room tour, and I thought I was watching the greatest sports memorabilia room tour channel. And I'm tired, man. No, it was cool though. Your space is dope, man. You can't tell because you use, I guess, that narrow section, right?
Yeah.
But the rest of it, you got it all decked out.
Yeah, I'm out of room. I'd love to get some more of these. What are these? Detolfs or whatever?
Yeah.
I got to get my Green Lanterns. And I'll tell you, and we'll get into Hawkeye just really quick. I do have a love for Spider-Man, but I'm so scared to go down that rabbit hole as a collector.
What Spider-Man statues or?
Statues and keys.
The keys are crazy, man.
I mean, right now I have a bunch.
I can't even collect keys right now. I'm waiting for the economy to crash and then I'll jump in.
There you go.
Hey, you never know. There'll be a correction at some point. So we are going to get into Hawkeye, guys. I usually try to start every episode telling you, if you liked it or didn't like it. Hopefully you like it more by the time we're all done. There's only 3 of us tonight, so we're going to get everybody's opinion pretty much on everything, which we usually do. We're pretty good about that. And let's get right into it. Before we get into it, is there anything you guys wanted to say before we jump into it?
I don't know if Jem said it live or right before we started. There is so much for this last episode. It's almost I feel like they can't cover it all. So, but I'm sure we'll all get into that.
Yeah, I think I snuck that in right when we were live. It's like I never know how many episodes. I'm reading comics. I never know when the last issue's coming. When it comes, I consume it. But yeah, the way that this ends, which we'll get to, how do they wrap this up in one episode, man? It's going to be a lot going on.
I think it's going to tie into Echo, but we will definitely.
I'm liking this Echo character. I didn't think I was going to like her, but I'm liking it.
So, all right. So first of all, this was the first episode that opened up differently than the others before the whole Marvel, like that whole thing. We open up with Yelena going after the widows. We saw this at the end. We knew this was happening at the end of Black Widow. She's going around curing the widows of their brainwash thing. Remember that red stuff that they made or they had to fix the brainwash?
Yeah.
And they go after
the Black
a
Widow movie.
You didn't watch it?
No, straight out of the Black Widow movie. Like,
right.
This is a direct follow-up from that.
It's right. It's like directly. We knew Yelena was going to do this. Now we actually see her doing it, curing these people.
Right.
And she actually tries to cure a woman who's not brainwashed and basically says, I do this for a living. I'm getting paid. I'm good at it. Right. What did the Joker say? If you're good at something, never do it for free. Right.
Yeah.
Was that Joker or was that Iron Man?
Could have been
Joker.
Both of them.
Maybe it was both of them. Yeah.
It could have been both of them. I thought it was Joker in Dark Knight.
It definitely.
Maybe could be.
Yeah.
So this woman, we find out this woman who must have been a widow is not brainwashed. She's doing it, making money, making a nice living. And then we get the first time we've seen this in the MCU, the instant blip and return of Yelena in the bathroom. What do you guys think of that?
Like you said, like her like the blip the blip E's point of view, that was pretty dope. I mean, I don't understand how everything around her blipped as well, but it was a cool transition regardless.
What that was a 5-year time hop around.
Yeah. What I'm saying, just the way it changed, I guess it tied into it. So I mean, but that was cool. It was the first time like you said, it was the first time we ever saw that. So that was pretty dope.
Right. We saw Monica go and return, but we didn't see this kind of impact. I
Right.
thought this was really cool.
And I was talking to Steph about it. I was like, it's so cool the age that we live in, where we have this event in a movie, and it's a huge event, and it trickles down, and it matters in other movies and other shows, and we're seeing it from a different perspective every time. And Far From Home, we're seeing how people are dealing with the fact that people have come back after 5 years and they're in high school and dealing with the blip, and that's the first time it's referred to as that. And that Monica Rambeau, we saw how it affected her, but this one, it's almost like everything else turned to ash and changed like Mystique X-Men movie style. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And I thought that was so cool because after 5 years, they paint the bathroom, this and that. Luckily, the house wasn't demolished or like or erosion or whatever. Yeah, at least the same lady was there, which is cool for her too. Like, oh snap, you came back.
So I thought that was cool. I do believe that was the first time we've actually seen the instant gone and back.
Yeah,
right.
It is.
I mean, I know they covered Monica a little bit. Yeah. I know they covered Monica a little bit in WandaVision, but I don't think it was that instant.
No, because we didn't see Monica before. We just seen the return.
Right. It wasn't as detailed. They put a lot into it. And I like how they used Yelena, because to me, I never saw what the big deal about Yelena was and how people were excited she was going to be in the show. Like in the movie, it wasn't like a huge standout for me, but I liked how they gave her that in this show. Now I'm always going to remember her more because of the return from the blip scene was like epic.
And is that not another nod to these Disney Plus shows that are giving you these moments of these B, C, D list characters that we didn't get a whole lot of? We're getting more of. I mean, that's
because you don't have time in the movie to flesh so many things out. So you have time, like Scarlet Witch and stuff. So
are we going to spend time on Scarlet Witch and Vision, or are we going to spend time on Captain America and Iron Man? Right.
Yeah.
So
and I love how this is the third time now in 5 episodes that they've started with. Obviously, this one wasn't as much as an origin, but it was a throwback to what was happening before to kind of set up the episode in a way, right? So we had Kate Bishop episode 1, we had Echo in episode 2 or 3,
whatever,
3, and then we get this Yelena throwback. Obviously not her origin, but kind of like, hey, where have you been since Black Widow, right? The end of Black Widow. And I think this is, again, I keep talking about the formula, the secret recipe that they got going. This is something they got to continue to use because I think it's working for them, and I think it'll work in all these other Disney Plus series. So keep doing what you're doing on this one.
Yelena is, I mean, I loved her in Black Widow. She was great. She's going to be.
It doesn't stand out. Awesome. I don't really remember much of her from that movie.
Oh, the sense of humor, the accent. She's hot. I think it all.
Well, here I think she's
better, in my opinion, than Scarlett Johansson's Black Widow. I like her.
That's
more.
What he was saying. My wife was saying about on the show. I like her better than Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah. And that's not a knock on ScarJo, more of a nod to Yelena. I think she's that much, but she's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, she's good. I think she's got a big future here.
Yeah. And then she learns basically Natasha Romanoff, her sister, passed away. But they never get into the episode. We never learn if she really knows how she died.
All she knows is that Hawkeye was with her and she's the one that didn't come back. She doesn't really know the sacrifice. And it makes sense. Like, he's got a family. She didn't have anything. It kind of made sense, and they were friends. But it's a movie. They just fight. They never get a chance to kind of talk it out,
Yeah. And there we go. Now we're into the first episode.
I think they'll get there, though, right? I think at some point it'll flesh out how it went down, like what she was told versus what actually happened.
And that ties into the post-credit scene of Falcon Winter Soldier, where Allegra De Fontaine, what's her name?
Arlene.
Contessa
Fontaine, something like that. Yeah.
She's the one who says this is the person that's responsible for your sister's death.
That was Black Widow.
Yeah.
That was Black Widow.
That was Black Widow.
Okay.
Yep.
So, all right. So let's go. Now we open up into the episode. Kate comes home, and her mom kind of talk a little bit, and she tells her mom about Jack being the CEO of Sloan Limited and all that.
Hold on, Gary. Jason Talaga says, imagine the ones that got blipped back that would have been in an airplane or riding in a car.
Yeah, that's a tough drop.
They talked about that at some point on something I saw, and I forget what they said. I forget how they tried to explain it, but it was just, yeah. Some things are just never going to get explained, right?
Yeah.
Let's just assume they're all safe.
Yeah,
and
their
bodies weren't coming down.
What if they were flying over the ocean, right? Like
they went for a swim. Yeah.
I don't know.
What if somebody was standing in the same spot they were in when they get blipped back?
Maybe they're down on the ground.
What if they were flying over the ocean?
Well, maybe they're on the coast. So, Kate's mom, Eleanor, right? Eleanor says, "All right, she'll look into it. She'll look into it." And
but she gives a little look, kind of at the end, like someone's on to me, kind of, you know?
Yeah, like, all right, we'll look into him. So she tells Kate, go home, go get your stuff, and come back here. Stay back, stay here. Now we catch up with Echo. And she's talking to what's his name? What's that dude's name again?
Kazi.
Kazi.
Oh yeah.
And she
Kazi,
agrees. That's right. He agrees. He'll help her catch and kill Ronin, which is important because later in the episode.
But also,
but that's
funny.
It, right?
Isn't
like,
that
cut it?
That's
after
the
that.
end of that little scene.
But isn't that after Clint lets him go and he says, "Tell her to drop it," and he's like, "All right, I'll tell her to drop it." But then he goes and says, "Okay, I'll help you kill him, and then we'll drop it." So he was already kind of not listening.
Yeah, that was I think last episode. Clint told him, "Just tell her to get out of here. Stop."
Oh, I think I saw it in the flashback prior to the episode.
Yes,
or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was in the setup. What previously on, which all was really important, actually, Jim. That was a good point because all of that was really important to this episode.
And that took place after the Yelena story. Did you notice that?
Yes.
Then it hopped into the previously on part.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It was like you started this episode
Yelena,
and they threw you into Yelena.
Which was 5 years before the blip came, the return blip or whatever.
Yeah, it was way back.
Hold on. Yeah. It was time is going to be weird because for her it wasn't 5 years, but in the world it was.
Yeah. So, all right. So Kate goes back to her apartment. Yelena is there, and there, you get a quick interaction. Then we see Clint go back to the LARPer's place, the LARPer's appointment. I forgot his name.
Beat up. Yeah.
Yeah. He goes back there because he has nowhere to go.
Gross.
Now we go back again to Kate and Yelena, and this is probably one of the best interact. I loved this scene.
First of all, sriracha on mac and cheese, I'm with that all day.
Oh, buffalo mac and cheese, I was eating all at New York Comic Con. Chicken was in there too. Buffalo mac and cheese.
Oh, shit.
So basically, Yelena tells Kate she's in New York to kill Clint. She tells Kate he came here to save his reputation, not her. You don't know who Clint is. You don't know the type of person he is. And she blames him for Natasha's death.
Some of the stuff that she was saying, though, I was like, you know what? She's actually kind of right, because you could look at it one way or another. Like, he's not really here to save you. He's just here to correct a mistake that he made, and hopefully it doesn't fall onto anybody else.
But I mean, but we see him talk to his wife. He doesn't want Kate Bishop to be hurt, you know?
No, definitely not.
He's there for her, but that wasn't the original.
Right. She's not necessarily wrong. Maybe just like as far as like on paper, right? Like she's not wrong. Like he's there. Like she can be wrong and kind of right at the same time. So I was kind of like, okay, she's making a little bit of sense here, but we all kind of know that she's been put on the wrong path by someone purposely, right? So,
but what's up with that? So, Contessa, what is her deal? Who does she really work for, right? Like,
so can we get into this at the end? Because Matt were talking about this.
That all ties together. Yeah,
we're kind of going in the right direction, but we definitely are going to talk about that. Yelena says so. Kate's defending Hawkeye.
Yeah.
Right. And then Yelena says this, and I thought this was a good quote. She said, "We're defined by what we do, not nice words. Like it or not, there is no escaping this." So she's going after Hawkeye.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Did you think when I was watching this for like the first like 30 seconds, I'm like, all right, she's getting a little too goofy. And then all of a sudden, like it stopped and she got serious. And then I kind of went back and I was like, all right, it was a cool scene because she kind of showed the range and how fast it could flip, and I was like, okay, I appreciated the scene more after it was over versus like as I was watching it. You know
I
what I mean?
kind
Like,
of had a feeling it was coming. I was like, all right, she's all kidding, and then she's gonna. It kind of played out how I thought it was gonna play out.
yeah,
And she
yeah,
turned the switch,
Well, at
and
the end of
she's
the
like,
day, right? Yelena's not there for Kate.
right.
She's not there to kill her. She's not there to hurt her. She's just in the way. And that's what she said. I removed an obstacle, right? She put her on a rope to get her out of the way.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
could have killed her, right? Or at least attempted to. She moved the obstacle. The goal is Clint.
yep.
Kate says, I don't know where he is. And I don't think at that point Kate knew where he was.
Right.
She didn't, right?
Yeah,
No.
I feel like Yelena could tell she wasn't lying, you know?
Yeah, because she didn't even push it.
Yeah.
And she said, "Don't get in my way." Yelena tells Kate, "Don't get in my way." This whole scene I thought was
Very good.
I don't know if
scene,
fun
yeah.
is the right word, but it was awesome. Just watching.
Yeah,
the
it was
interaction.
good.
And what's cool too is like these are essentially two new characters.
It's so funny you said that. I was just about to say it's the first. I feel like it's the first big scene between two characters that we've like have. This is like their first kind of go around, right? Like this was a new scene with new characters that it was just them,
And it was good.
and it was very good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think Yelena really showed her chops, right? Her charisma, her serious tone, her strength, right? How powerful she is, how deadly she is. So it conveyed a lot for that character. For Kate, it didn't really do much, but
She,
for you,
yeah. She just
what
listened.
could she do? Yeah.
Nothing. Yeah. So Clint officially is staying with I see Trilogy Grills.
Grills.
And
That's his name.
I
That's
thought
from the
that-
comics.
Right. They flip back to him in the apartment, and Grills and Hawkeye are going back and forth. Grills says, "You're not staying in a hotel. You're gonna stay right here. By the way, your costumes are done."
Yeah.
Right.
Foreshadowing. Yeah.
So
And at this point, we're like Hawkeye's like he's not thinking they're a team anymore. So I thought that was kind of interesting. The costumes are done. It's like, yeah, I just told her to beat it though, you know?
yeah, and
You know what I thought was funny? He's like, no way you're sleeping in a hotel. You're sleeping on my couch. I'm thinking like, I'd rather stay at a hotel, bro. Like, I'd rather have my own bed. I could take a shower. I could, be comfortable. I'm not really comfortable right here. But anyway, it was nice.
Yeah,
It was
but
a
he
nice
passed right
gesture.
out.
Yeah, that's true.
He was shot. That
With the
dude
dog,
was
with Lucky.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which they haven't called him yet. Which I keep waiting. I'm like, is somebody just gonna name this dog Lucky?
And then
Or they're just gonna-
did they say it? Didn't Grill say that in this episode? Like, we got to name. Someone's got to name this dog.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
He said, I think I got a name for your dog or something like that.
Oh, and they just
Yeah.
never got to it.
Yeah.
How do they find a stray and then all of a sudden they just keep it through all this danger and shit? Like, I always thought that was a little weird.
Worst
Comic-
rescuers ever.
Yeah,
Comic
right.
book nod. Yeah.
So we go back to Kate now. She goes home to her mom's place and sees Jack is being arrested, and he's calm, cool, collected, just like he's been all series. And he's saying, "I've been framed. I'll be back for the party."
But he's coming off like he's the bad guy, right? He's kind of coming off villainy and like, oh, that's creepy. And
like, dude,
douchey,
right?
But we know the swordsman from comics is not really a bad guy. So it's kind of like you're thinking, okay, is he bad or not? So at this point, he's looking bad. It's looking like the bad guy got caught. Mom is safe. He's looking like you said, he's coming off a little cocky, a little villaany.
But I mean, do you believe that, Jem, or do you just think that's how he's coming off?
Do you want to get there, or I think we should probably wait?
Yeah, we can wait to the end. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, and Kate is still oblivious for now. We're reading the room, right? She's not following yet. Right. And I get it because he's like cocky and I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny. My man was like, all right, I'll be back for the party. This is just a misunderstanding. So, all right, now this is probably the most emotional part of the episode. This is when Clint goes to the plaque with the event, and it said, this is the first time the Avengers assembled, and he takes out the earpiece and he starts talking to Natasha. And I thought that was really good. Really
powerful
great
scene. Yeah, definitely.
I almost wish Yelena saw that.
Yeah. Or heard it.
Didn't kill her. That was his friend.
Yeah. And he says, I miss you and I'm sorry for what I'm about to do. And we kind of had an idea what he was about to do, which we are going to get into. And then we go back to Kate again, and Kate is calling and were you gonna say something, Jem? Or are you yawning?
No, I yawned there. Yeah, sorry.
I'm sorry, I'm boring.
Sorry, it's been a long day.
Yeah.
He said I'm boring.
No.
No,
Not
we're
you.
good. You know what it is that there's like only a couple like huge points in this episode, and everything else just kind of like ramps you up for it, right? So
Yeah,
there's
it's like
a lot of
right?
yeah. There's a lot of like flats, and then all of a sudden you're like, so yeah, we're getting there. We're getting to a really important part. So
I'm not bored. I'm just tired.
So, all right. She's kind of acting like that crazy girlfriend with the phone calls and the
that was
voicemails. She's
hysterical. I was
calling Clint.
dying.
But I thought
Right,
that was
right.
funny because that's the second time she did that. And all right, so this is kind of her hero, but at the same time, I think she's concerned for him because she knows what's going on, especially with Yelena, and she wants to help.
100%. I mean, she's like, all right, screw this. Like, she had, we kind of skipped over it a little bit, but she had that moment that she kind of realized, like, this isn't the life. She ain't about that life, right? She's like, I'm not a superhero. I'm not cut out for it. Her mother even says, does Clint think you're a superhero? And she says, no, he doesn't, and neither do I. So she's like hanging up that dream right at the beginning of this episode, and then all of a sudden,
I should have said that. You're right. Yep.
She's hanging that up. She's done with it. She kind of feels defeated and all that, and now she gets back to the point, like, you know what? I don't care. I don't care if like this is something for me or not in the long run, but I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna help Clint on this one thing, regardless. I'm just gonna go after it, and that's what you see going forward from here.
Yeah, it's kind of like the hero in her. She knows that this is the right thing to do, and something she can't just let it go. And we'll talk about it at the end, why her mother's talking her out of it in the first place. She has her own reasons, But yeah, she's gonna do what's right. So she's gonna get a hold of Clint, no matter how many messages she's got to leave.
Kind of like a Tom.
And that was a complete change. That the beginning of the episode, they focused on her first ever bow. And at this point, she's focused on that bow. And she's like, you know what? Yeah, I am a hero.
Similar to like a Spider-Man Tom Holland moment, right? He had one of those moments. Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing. It almost is like that, realizing you got to do the right thing kind of moment. Like I don't want to really even say anything about Spider-Man, but I was thinking the same thing.
The first one with him and Tony, where Tony kind of scolds him and he's like, you're out of here, kid,
Right. When he takes his suit back.
Yep.
All right. So where am I? Oh yeah, the voicemail. She's leaving voicemails. Clint basically then that next scene with the arrow. I thought that was kind of cool how he told the two little henchmen.
Oh, the message?
The message with the arrow. I want to meet Maya.
That was a funny scene too. That was a funny scene. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really good. And then another cool scene is when Clint calls his wife and he's running everything by her kind of, but like looking for that looking for the support or don't go do that, come home kind of thing.
Right. And we didn't get to talk last week because they got, and we'll talk about it at the end, I'm sure, a little bit, but like the whole watch thing, right? Like, I don't want to get too far down this rabbit hole, but people are thinking that there is a tie to Laura there somehow. Maybe she's Mockingbird, right? That's what they're saying. So are they leading us to believe that she's not just Clint Barton's wife, right? That there's more to her because...
Yeah, I kept wondering what the hell was the big deal with the watch. At first, we thought it was Tony Stark's watch from Civil War, but I don't know what the deal with the watch is.
Right. So I mean, we didn't get to talk last week about it because like this week there was no mention of it. So maybe we'll talk about it. That clearly we're going to talk about how this thing wraps up. So I feel like they're leading you to believe that there's more there. Like it's not just a good, open, like healthy, honest relationship between them two. It just feels like they're making you seem like there's more there. Like
business.
She's
almost.
in on everything, or are they just saying like, hey, he's honest with his wife? Like, I don't know. They're really driving that home though.
Yeah, because I was watching it with my wife and I was like joking. I was like, you would have been on there like, what are you doing? You better come home right now. It's Christmas. You said 2 days. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like I was like, oh, the super supportive wife on the other line saying, do what you think is right.
She said,
it would make sense. If she's if that's her profession as well, it would make a little bit more sense.
It's funny. I didn't think of that, but now listening, it almost makes sense that she was part of S.H.I.E.L.D. at some point in some way, shape, or form, whether she was just a simple agent or Mockingbird or something,
Agent 19, maybe.
And I was thinking about that too. Like, I forget what made me think about it in the beginning of this. I was like, yo, Hawkeye used to work for Shield.
Yeah.
Like, that's how we met him. Like, he is like a company guy, military type of guy, if you will, right? I'm trying to remember what made me think of that in this episode. Something from
You
the
know what's
beginning.
funny though? That kind of guy is not going to share intel with his wife. So she may,
unless she was an agent as well.
yeah, she may have ties and know what's going on. I never thought about that, but now listening to you two, it kind of makes a lot of sense. I hope, you know what? Now I'm hoping that happens. We find out.
See,
yeah, maybe
We'll see.
he's taking too long to come home for Christmas, so she just shows up and does. Well, I don't even know what Mockingbird's powers are. So I keep thinking like Black Canary for some reason, but
she looks similar. She has a similar look, but I don't
Is
think
it,
that's
right?
yeah.
She doesn't have the screen power, but
No.
So, did you guys catch the little nod? Fat Man used cars.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
that was already in the season though.
Yeah.
From second or third episode. From the third episode, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Or
yeah,
first
it
even, no?
wasn't it?
Was it the
we
first?
talking
It was
about that?
when
last week.
No,
we didn't go on. Last week was my fault, guys. If you're, everybody in the chat, that's what it couldn't go on last week.
I think it was the episode with Echo where she saw him kill. I think that was
Right,
3.
because that's
right?
where she.
Oh,
That's where she
yeah.
kind of. That's her HQ, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we're there. We're at the car dealership. Maya's waiting, and then you see Ronin, Clint, Hawkeye just taking guys out left and right. And you know what I was thinking too during this whole scene is I'm like, this chick Echo was talking about how you don't need that hearing aid. Use your vision, use your senses, whatever. And he's taking dudes out left and right, and she's just like,
You know what's funny? I totally forgot that because even the gun goes off and she doesn't notice.
She
And I'm
doesn't
like,
know it. Yeah, that's
Nah,
so
it's
funny.
not-
You said
yeah,
that,
yeah.
John.
I'll
It
get
ju-
him.
I don't remember that's like she's deaf. Like I don't know. Unless she's talking with Kazi, then I'm like, oh yeah, because they're signing or whatever.
You're right.
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know. I thought that was a little funny.
She was definitely at a disadvantage in that battle.
I'd say he could have taken her out with an arrow and didn't. But anyway, we get the Echo and Ronin fight, which I thought was actually pretty good.
Yep.
Yeah, I thought it was cool that he came out as Ronin, kind of putting it to bed, like I'm Ronin. All right, so you can stop looking, and you ain't gonna kill me.
Yeah, and then what I thought was really important too during that point, where he took his mask off and he said, "We're the same. We're just weapons being manipulated and used."
Yeah, the discussion between them two after the fight, or I guess when the fight paused, I mean, that was powerful also. Like the fact that she's reading his lips and you get it at the bottom, kind of like the way she's hearing it. I thought that was a really
Piecing
well
it together.
directed.
And I guess it makes sense
thing.
that Clint's learned sign language because he's got a hearing disability that he's newly learning. Dope Boys 305 says Tony said she was an agent when they first met her in Endgame.
He did. Yeah, he did. He goes, "Now that's an agent. These are just little agents running around to his kids and stuff like that." He did say that.
So quite literal, actually.
Right.
Yeah, that was dope. That scene, and what happens at the end of that? She tries to does she try to like, get him again or something?
He tells her that there was an informant in the ranks,
Right,
and
that's
her
what I was
boss
thinking of.
wanted her dad killed.
Right. So she starts questioning Kazi. Why wasn't he at the meeting? You're the second. You're the right hand. Why would you not have been there?
Why weren't you in the building that day?
Well, we talked about that during our breakdown episode 3. That if they were going to go comic, which it seems like at Comicstorian, which they have done, like in this series, it feels like more than any other thing. Then it's got to be that Kingpin set up the father, and we're pretty much getting the signs.
But
signs point to that.
Kazi was in on it though. That's the thing.
That's the extra layer, right? That's what we probably didn't realize until this episode. That's what it seems like. I mean, it could go a different direction, but that seems like Kingpin, Kazi. I mean, spoiler alert: Kingpin, Kazi are probably in on that. Yeah.
Well, if Kazi is at that meeting, he's dead. So somebody wanted him alive.
Right.
Exactly.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Echo kind of, takes a shot at him. Blah 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 blah. Kate saves him.
Kate saves the day. That's a big
saves the
moment. I
day
feel
again.
like
Kate's a hero.
If she didn't come, right, then he would have been in trouble.
Yeah. He would have been. That's like the second time she saved him, I think, isn't it? Second or third?
She does mention like it's the second time or third time saved you, something like that. Yeah. So
something like that. And then Kate tells Clint about Yelena. So like Clint knew of Yelena because she actually said to him,
But he didn't know that was
Natasha's
the black.
sister.
He didn't know that was the Black Widow assassin that was sent to kill him.
Not at the
Right.
time. And then once
But now when she tells him, he's kind of like, all right, that makes sense. Okay.
Yelena. Yeah.
He knew her, right? Which we didn't know. Like, is he gonna know that Yelena is the sister? And clearly they showed that it did.
Yeah. Now
Right,
whether
I was
or
wondering that
not,
too, like, is he gonna know her or not? And then I was like, okay, him and Natasha were tight because she told him about her sister.
well, here's the thing too. Like, he obviously knows of Yelena, but have they ever met?
Right.
Well, probably,
Yelena and
probably
Clint.
not, right?
Probably not.
I would say no, because it seems like to me, like from Black Widow, they kind of went their separate ways. I don't feel like they stayed in touch.
Yelena
that
went
much,
to
right?
go clean up the widows, and Natasha went to be, an Avenger.
Well, even before that, right? Even before Black Widow, it seems like when they had that fight scene, like they hadn't seen each other in a very, very long time. So
Yep. So, and what's we've known all along, Clint and Natasha are really good friends, but for Clint to know about Yelena and know Natasha's past, I think that's a big deal because she doesn't talk about it.
right.
No, that's literally what I thought when he knew who she was. I was like, okay, they were tight as fuck, right? You know what I mean? Like, for her to give details about her childhood, it coming from her background, she had to trust him and stuff.
And that's Clint's the only one who really knew a lot about Natasha, right? I mean, they were a duo, man. They were tight. Yeah. And then comes the big ending. Yelena ends up following Kate's mom, which I thought that was pretty interesting too. Like, she was following her. Kate gets a text essentially from Yelena, because I actually went back and saw if her name was there, but it just said like unknown. It said, I found out who hired me, Eleanor Bishop. And then she sends the picture of Eleanor, which was actually looked like a video, but it was paused.
Right, like a surveillance or something.
And it was Eleanor talking with Kingpin.
Vincent D'Onofrio, Kingpin. Yeah.
Vincent D'Onofrio. So very excited.
I want to say they're giving the fans what they want. We don't want to recast Kingpin.
Right.
We want to connect it to stuff that was loosely connected or maybe not even connected at all. And I don't know. It seems such a simple notion to just give the fans what they want, but they're doing it, and I think we're all pretty psyched about it.
I'm really excited because you hear rumors about possibly Jessica Jones. Let's hope we get a Luke Cage and they recast Iron Fist.
Let's not forget about John Bernthal. Come on now.
Oh yeah, and Bernthal.
But look, and then it's like we're getting so many rumors, and it's like the rumors always seem to pan out, right? Except for the ones that we make up on our own about Mephisto and shit. But I'm talking about like
this seems like the perfect series for Mephisto to finally appear.
Just when you're least
who's the power broker?
No. Yeah. Well, I thought a little, side thing with Yelena is that it's showing how different she is than when she started, which is very quick, right? We just got introduced to her, but she's no longer just a mindless assassin. Now she's like, you know what? I want to figure out who this is because maybe I got to give Kate the benefit of the doubt here. So she went and she followed the trail and wound up finding out that it was Kate's mom that's trying to kill Hawkeye. So, I mean, I feel like it's a good point to get into what we kind of talked about at the beginning with Contessa. And it's a question that I asked Gary, and it's a question that Jem kind of alluded to before. It's how does Contessa fit in with Yelena and Eleanor? Like, is she like kind of like, is she like a hired gun, and she's kind of like brokering all the deals? Like, here, you have an assignment, you have an assignment, you have an assignment.
But she's got to be working for somebody from the comics, right? And then I don't think it's AIM. I don't think it's who's the other group? It's AIM and not Hydra, I guess. But who is she working for? Like, I guess we always assume. We always assume she was with either Shield or Sword to be like the new Thunderbolt Ross, kind of recruiting the Thunderbolts or whatever. But maybe that's not what she is. And then somebody in the chat brought up a good question. Why did Kingpin want Echo's father out of the picture? I mean, he worked for him, right?
There was a gambling debt, right? I don't think it's
we'll
there might be
out. They may change that a little bit.
Right. I don't know. That may be a nothing burger, or they may tie that to something like that. I don't know, but
no. We know that Eleanor hired Yelena, but Contessa is the one that put her onto who killed, or put her on in the post-credit scene of Black Widow that Hawkeye's responsible for Natasha's death. So why did she try to gas her up for that? Is what we're saying.
I'm
Well,
thinking, in my opinion, I'm thinking Contessa is like the broker, right? So you call Contessa and say, "Hey, I need Clint killed," and then Contessa says, "All right, who's going to be the right person for me?" It's not going to be what's his name? Who's the Captain America dude?
John Walker.
It's not John
yeah.
Walker, right? But I do have Yelena here, an assassin. Like, I don't know. Is she putting together a Thunderbolts team? Right? We talked about this.
They are kind of mercenaries, right, Jem? So maybe that's the angle that they're taking here. Like, I know in the comics, like, they kind of do different, they're good, they're bad, but they're always kind of out for themselves at the end of the day. So just a straight mercenary team. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, the end of Black Widow, she's handing her this file. So the only way that kind of works to kind of connect everything is that, like, Hawkeye starts, and then we get to a point where Eleanor wants Clint off the trail. So she calls Contessa, and then Contessa tracks down Yelena. So this all happens in like a short period of time. So I think those two storylines have to overlap, because what would be the odds of her giving her the file on Clint and then randomly getting a phone call from Eleanor to say, "Hey, can you kill Clint Barton?"
That's too big of a hole there. That's
right.
They have to.
So it feels like those two stories had to overlap.
Matundo says Thunderbolt Ross hired Contessa. Maybe he doesn't like the Avengers. They try to come up with the Accords and all that. So maybe it is S.H.I.E.L.D. or the government. I guess not S.H.I.E.L.D. I guess it's the government, right? Who he works for,
right?
Wanting the Avengers out of the picture, and maybe recruiting his own team that he can control, because he couldn't control the Avengers.
Yeah, I think this is the answer. Like, right there. Yeah,
that's what we're thinking right here.
Yeah.
Yep. Kate's mom called Contessa, or maybe Kate's mom talks to Kingpin, and Kingpin is
because Eleanor is not gonna know how to contact a widow mercenary out of nowhere, right? So she has Contessa is a middleman broker for mercenaries, is what she could be.
She's recruiting. She recruited John Walker.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like Yelena was already kind of working for Contessa at the end of Black Widow. We see that. Where else is she going to show up?
Yeah, there you go.
That was the beginning of the episode.
Yep.
So, and that was right after the blip. So that was years ago compared to this.
Right. So what do you think about
doing this for a while? You think we get Contessa in this series before the end of the series?
Too much.
Probably. I mean, they seem to be wanting to kind of prop her up for some reason. Maybe not. But I think it goes back.
End credit. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. And then here's the thing. So I think tying back to arresting the swordsman, I think he's going to be the good guy that comes in and takes down Eleanor at the end. He's the good guy. Eleanor's the bad guy, which is kind of hinted at, throughout.
He's been working almost like undercover, following her.
Right. And she's probably responsible for her husband's death, right? And she's the bad guy. Eleanor Bishop's the villain.
So now at the end, where does this, because there's a lot to tie in. We need to find out about the watch. We need to know what's going on with Echo. Do we go back to Kingpin? Is Contessa revealed? We need to, Eleanor needs to be exposed, right? We need Swordsman back, and we need Ronin home for Christmas. So we need all this stuff happening.
How does Kate deal with the news that her mother is really this villain that's responsible for her father's death and trying to kill Hawkeye? And I guess, does she get taken care of, and now Kate Bishop inherits her money and she has now funds for her superhero operation?
Well, I feel like we have to remember that this is going to be, and I hope, right? They've done it so far this way, so I think they're going to keep it going. This will be the first series that, like, it's not over when the series is over. Like, I feel like it's just going to be a cliffhanger, more not a huge. I don't think anybody's going to die. Right, I don't think any. I think you're just going to get all these pieces.
I think Eleanor might die.
You think so? See, I feel like she's going to be a character. Like, she's going to be somebody that has to go forward, because so much would have to happen in one episode for them to just wipe that off the board for Kate Bishop. Like, don't you feel like they would be missing out on an opportunity to have Kate have to sit with the fact that her mother is the bad guy, or a bad guy?
There's no way Eleanor survives this series, being responsible for her husband's death and working with the Kingpin against Hawkeye, there's no coming back from that. So they're gonna kill her. That's my prediction for the season finale of this.
I feel
There's
like
a lot. I mean, we also need Echo story.
that's the whole right. Exactly.
Echo's gonna have redemption. Echo's gonna realize Kazi and Kingpin set up her father, and I think she's gonna aim her vengeance towards Kingpin rather than Hawkeye. Maybe they work together. Does she become a good guy now?
You ready for this big question? Does Kingpin
Eleanor,
become
right?
the villain in a Young Avengers Disney Plus show? Or are they too powerful?
What does Kingpin? Where does Kingpin go after this? Right?
Echo.
Well,
Echo's got her own show coming out. Okay.
Gary, did I talk?
Does everything? Here you go. Sorry, Matt.
Go.
Does Echo learn the truth and find out that Kingpin set everything up to take out, and now he's the villain in the Echo series?
Yes.
And we go from there.
And I think that's where we talked about this early on, and that's how Daredevil ties in, right? Because they're related in the comics. It's Daredevil that's the patsy, and then she learns the truth, and they form a relationship, and obviously they share a bond. He's blind, she's deaf, and they go from there. So I feel like that's what the Echo series is going to be about.
And Kevin Feige came out and said Charlie Cox is our Daredevil.
Yep,
he's coming to the MCU. So that would make sense that instead of him getting a series on his own, we start slipping him in. You start seeing him in Echo.
But hold on, real quick. Those Netflix shows were in the MCU, weren't they? But didn't they just like briefly mention the Battle of New York? Or I'm thinking about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
They did mention everything happening in the MCU, but they weren't, technically.
So they were in the MCU, but they just didn't connect with anything.
Well, according to Feige, they weren't, but the Netflix shows still kind of threw hints that they were. So it's almost like, Netflix wanted to be part of it, but the MCU was like, no, you're not. But I mean, it's on the thumbnail, right? Like, are those shows going to be canon?
Well, it's got to be. You got.
I feel like it's going to be.
D'Onofrio, yeah.
At least
Agents is definitely MCU because I remember them. First of all, they had Coulson in the show.
Yeah, they had characters come too from MCU,
and they had Lady Sif was in an episode.
The stories weren't though, from what Feige says. Characters were because they just basically took the character.
Like the Darkhold.
But the stories were not. That's essentially how Kevin Feige explained it. Now he also said that about Netflix, but it seems like something I didn't see this. I'm not going to take credit for it, but the building in episode 1 where they're having the auction. It's like it's actually in New York City. I've been there a few times. It's a big square, and they had all the lights around, and it's like a U-shaped building with a square. That's the building that Fisk bought in season 3 of Daredevil.
Really?
That's the exact building that he bought. So you got some stuff going on. Yeah.
Speaking of buying buildings, right? Didn't they tease that also in the beginning of the season that Tony Stark doesn't own that anymore? Somebody bought it.
Yes.
So are we thinking still, is Kingpin going to be the buyer, or you guys are still thinking it's going to be a Fantastic Four thing?
I think it's I think it's Oscorp.
Oh, Oscorp?
Yeah, I thought it was Oscorp until I saw Spider-Man. We'll see. We'll see.
We're not going to
I don't know.
Spoilers, but I still think it could be Oscorp. I'll be disappointed. Okay, put it this way. If it's Fantastic Four, they have a lot of explaining to do. If it's Oscorp, they don't need a huge, big story. They don't need
I feel like
he's just a billionaire. That's all.
I feel like Feige still doesn't know how they're going to introduce Fantastic Four or the X-Men.
Yeah.
But you know what?
I think you're right.
You're doing a good job.
I think Kingpin bought it. I think they mention it in the show where Kingpin is now shown because he was behind that and essentially tying Kingpin back to events that happened in whatever movie that was when that building was being sold. I guess it was Spider-Man Far From Home.
Right.
Is that when it was?
Yeah.
Because remember Happy Hogan was like trying to facilitate the move
and everything.
Yeah.
Homecoming.
Hammer Industries.
Yeah.
Maybe it was one of those shows.
I was talking
to Jay on one of these Hawkeye. Maybe for the finale, we'll get Jay on.
I think I was talking to you about this, Garrett, but I feel like Kingpin's gonna just be that villain that floats around for a while. that just
Street
is
level.
just untouchable. Like nobody gets near him, but we always see him. He always pops up. His fingerprints are all over everything. It's going to be a while until like he's at the forefront taking somebody on and gets taken down. But I guess the question is, who's it going to be? Like, it would be cool to be Spider-Man, right? Like,
Yeah,
that would
I
feel
don't
pretty
think
cool,
so,
but
though.
I don't think it's going to be.
No,
right?
I think he goes down in a Defenders Disney Plus. I saw somebody talk about Defenders or a Hero for Hire
Yeah.
because
yeah,
I
yeah.
think he's going to be in the villain in Echo, but he's not getting taken out.
You can't do the same thing, right? Like, if they just rinse and repeat, like Daredevil takes him down again, like,
well, yeah, but
eh.
if they can have him in Echo as the main antagonist, because he's only going to be teased maybe in a post-credit scene in the last episode of this one, you know?
We got to
Oh,
hear. We got to see him and hear him.
You don't
right?
think he's in it? Somebody just said in the trailer for number 6, which I didn't see, I didn't even know it was out, that there's somebody walking with a cane.
I
Okay,
want to
yeah, I mean,
hear him. He doesn't need.
I don't know how
part.
big. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna be a big role. If he's in it, it'll be a little bit or a post credit. But maybe he'll be in it a little bit, and then the post credit will be Contessa again. So, have they tied anything into Young Avengers in this season yet? Because all the other shows have.
Just Kate Bishop, right? Yeah.
Okay, Bishop. Okay, I'm tripping.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, there was not right. I mean, it was kind of the one that was in your face as opposed to the ones that we kind of put together on our own.
Yeah. Actually, it was the first one, other than Wiccan and Speed. It was the first one that's like really in our face, right?
Right. Well, it's the most prominent. It's her. Well, I guess it is her show if she's Hawkeye, right?
Right. Right.
Is Hawkeye Clint Barton or Kate Bishop? What does that mean when it says Hawkeye for this series?
It's Clint.
Technically, it's still Clint right now.
Yeah, she refers to him as Hawkeye. Everybody refers to him as Hawkeye in the show.
But I think you get season 2 pretty quick. I got to be honest. Like, I feel like within 18 months, you get another season of this.
Which shows didn't get a season 2? Falcon and Winter Soldier? Because he's getting a movie.
He's getting a movie. Loki's got a 2 technically. WandaVision, I don't know. So
yeah, WandaVision we can't really speak on because
well, you don't need a second season of WandaVision.
Well, it looks like that's gonna carry over into Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, well, we knew that. We knew that.
That's what I'm saying.
You get an Agatha, which is a spin-off, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get an Agatha.
Where the hell did White Vision go?
Well, I think that's the next thing you get, right? I think they're going to do something with that.
Where the hell is he?
Where the hell is this guy?
He just left.
Just gone.
He's gone.
He's bound.
Just took his ball and went home.
That's it. So
what do you think, Gary? Jem said he thinks Eleanor's going to die. Do you think Eleanor's going to die, or do you think she makes it through as a villain?
I don't.
Or jail. She's going to be
know.
taken off the chessboard. I mean, why would she hang around? How can she have a relationship with Kate
Okay,
after
so
this?
part of me thinks they can kill her off and not lose anything because they have so many street level villains that they could fill these Disney Plus shows for years.
And Madam Mask, that's just kind of like, I don't know.
You never need another, but Kingpin's going to have how many of these type of characters throughout some of these Disney Plus shows, right? He's going to have a bunch. I can't see Kingpin getting arrested and yay, we solve it in Echo. I think there's going to be a different villain for that story. Kingpin will be here, right? And then there'll be like some other.
But here's my thing: who's Echo's villains?
Kingpin. Oh, I mean the main one, right? Like it's Kingpin.
Yeah, but you can put anybody in there.
Yeah, you can. Well, let's put it this way. I think if they just keep her as Kate's mom, she dies off or goes to jail. But if they decide that she's Madam Mask, then there's no reason to call her Madam Mask unless she's coming back.
And what is she coming back to do? Now, Madam Mask makes sense because she's got power and money with that whole security business thing, right?
Right. And I just feel like they've been setting it up for a reason. And like the whole Kingpin thing, like, I mean, I just keep going back to the comics because they've been so comic accurate in this that it goes back to the Watch, right? Like they are trying to get dirt or information. So there's just so much to tie up in this last episode.
So let's go back to the Watch quickly.
Yeah.
That is not in the book.
No, but a videotape. What's in the book is a videotape of Clint doing bad things. Right? Like I can't remember if he's Ronin. I think it's just him like killing somebody, like just like a highlight reel of bad things. And they have an auction to bid on it, and Madame Mask gets it. So it's like they're holding this over his head. So it's kind of like The Watch, right? Like that's the connection for the comics there.
Oh yeah,
So,
the Circus of Crime. Isn't Kazi the clown?
yes, yeah, and he's right. Clint is like there's a circus background there for Clint and Kazi, right? So
Kazi seems like such a whimpering, kind of sniveling.
Poor
loser,
man's
though,
Jon Snow.
but he's a good but he's
The
a
Wish
good actor.
version.
Feels like a pretty good,
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
The
There's
one,
a
you
lot
ordered,
of-
the one you ordered online.
the one you
the
order
variant.
online. The mail order. I don't know, man. I honestly I can't put my finger on where this is gonna go.
There's a lot to cover in the last episode between the Watch, Ronin, Echo, Kingpin, Madame Mask.
Tell you what, I think I'm
Clint's
liking
wife.
it better.
Contessa.
I'm liking it better than What If so far.
Oh hell yeah!
This is my favorite. Yeah.
This is up here with WandaVision for me.
I think it's third, right? I think I got Loki, then WandaVision, then this. What else
I've
was
got
there?
this ahead of Loki. Because
Nah,
to me,
was
Loki
dope,
was
man.
all right until the last episode.
Freaking Kang? Are you serious?
Until the last
Multiverse?
episode. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Listen, I think Marvel might get a little wake up call that like, yo, the cosmic stuff and multiverse is cool, but yo, people like that street level stuff.
Well, look,
like
we're getting Charlie Cox confirmed. We're
Right.
getting Kingpin, right? So I think MCU. I feel like I'm saying it weird. The MCU had like all these pieces scattered about. Now they kind of have everything honed in. They own everything, right? Except for like solo Hulk films, I think.
Yeah.
But I think they could, if they're playing nice with Sony. I heard rumors about a Hulk thing happening too, but they have all their pieces now. Now they could play with the street level, the cosmic, the magic, whatever, So it's interesting times, man, for sure.
So, all right, Matt, what do you give this episode?
I think this, is right up there with 1 for me, and 3. I mean, 3. I mean, they've really all been pretty good. Like this is a 9. I think that's the highest I gave so far.
I don't remember my
for,
scores
for another episode, so I'll keep this at a 9 also.
I don't
And
have
if
the grades anywhere, but
if we go back, I don't know. I was thinking about 4. I thought you were going to ask us about 4. 4 I would give probably 4 was probably an 8.5 for me. So
I don't remember episode 4 really.
The Watch and the apartment and the rooftop scene with Yelena.
Yelena.
Oh, okay, yeah. I think that this was the strongest episode. I think the highest I gave was an 8 for 1 or 2 maybe. So I'm going to give this one a 9.
I'm gonna go 8.5. I'm gonna agree over there with Ugly Ewok. I mean, every episode's been strong. Every episode. I said from the beginning that episode 2 was gonna be the weakest, and I think episode 2 is still the weakest, and it wasn't even a bad episode.
I think if this episode is the best so far, then 1, then
I thought
the
3,
last episode
3 was a good one. That was the
really
one where
good.
they were the scene, the car chase scene.
with the
Oh, yeah.
flubber.
That was
Yeah,
good.
with the flubber.
Yeah, Jem didn't like that one.
I get it. I mean, it's Disney. It reminded us that we're watching a Disney program.
Yeah.
So before we get out of here, I do want to ask you guys this question because this is a big one. And I do want to hear from the chat too, because I know you guys are thinking this. What do you want to see before this series ends? Next episode, Matt, we'll do you first. What do you want to see where you're going to walk away and be like, yeah, this may have been the best Disney Plus show. This gave me what I wanted. What do you want to see?
I mean, I want to see a good 6th episode. I know it sounds weird, but all the final episodes have kind of been a letdown for me so far.
Not
right?
Loki.
Loki, right. Dan, okay. With Loki as the exception, right? Like, and I feel like this is going to be a letdown because, like, there's no way to tie this up. If they try to tie it all up, I think it doesn't work. If they leave it open-ended, I'd actually rather that. So I want to see a continuation of this story. I don't want to see, that's what I'll say. I don't want to see the story end. I want some like mini bows tied up, but I don't want the whole thing tied up. I want it to continue into something else.
Well, before you go, one thing that Kevin Feige does and Marvel does, and they do it on the low, is they talk about something before it becomes super, super relevant. And you're like, why are we doing? And the one thing they dropped was Echo. So I would not be surprised before we even met this character.
Right.
So I would not be surprised if there is a big open-ended storyline involving Echo and we get that. What you're talking about, I think that's what we're going to get. But go ahead, Jem. What do you want to see?
So here's my thing. This show has already far exceeded my expectations. I had
Same.
very low expectations going in. I've enjoyed the episodes, you know, so I'm just happy to see how they wrap up this arc, and I definitely want to see them tied into something overarching, whether it's Young Avengers, something with Contessa. Tie me back into the big picture. Still set up a season 2 or set up Echo. That's cool. I already feel like Echo is going to become a good guy by this next episode, or at least working with our with Hawkeyes. Kate's probably going to become Hawkeye at the end of this next episode, I would think, right? Because there's a whole big deal where in the comics where Clint acknowledges her as Hawkeye, and then there's another big deal where I forget who it is. It's a female hero. Like when she's out and about, Jessica Jones. What if Jessica Jones shows up and calls her Hawkeye?
Nobody will see that one coming.
I'm down for all that type of stuff.
But we do, again, it comes back to the Marvel knows what they're doing. Weren't there rumors or didn't the actress, I forgot her name, who played Jessica Jones, Ritter?
She killed it too, yo.
Didn't she come out and say she would love to come to the MCU and reprise the role of Jessica Jones?
Yo, the only person in life who didn't want to do that was your boy, Terrence Howard.
Yeah,
literally everybody.
Exactly.
The first War Machine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, boy, is he kicking himself now, man? Come on.
Yo, literally everybody's down to reprise their role to be in the MCU, man.
Yeah.
Give me Netflix. That's the other thing I want. I want the whole Netflix without Iron Fist. That character. Give me a different Iron Fist.
I don't know what everybody hated on Iron Fist. I mean, that's what he looks like in the comics. What the hell, man?
Yeah, but I just don't think he portrayed what I would want to see from Iron Fist.
I think his thing was he didn't have enough time training or some shit like that.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't think he was horrible. Like, I just think they could do better. You know, everybody else I was cool with.
Okay, to your point, and to many people's, if they recasted him, nobody would really be upset.
No, except him. Except him.
But that Luke Cage was perfect. Jessica Jones was perfect, right? So like,
give me
keep
all that.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised if they end up coming. Maybe not next episode, but if we do get them down the line,
maybe
we already
one more.
Know Daredevil's
you might get the whole Defender squad at the end of the day. I really wanted to see them set up Heroes for Hire. I don't know why that wasn't a thing. Maybe we can get it now. You know.
I feel like that's coming. I feel like that would be such a huge opportunity missed if they don't do that.
You got to keep the original Iron Fist, man. Give my man another shot.
I don't know if that's going to happen.
I think that door is closed.
So I don't know. I'll be honest. I don't know what I want to see. I want to see, like Jem, like you said, I want to see the overall story. I want to see the big picture. I want to see where they're going. I'd love if White Vision showed up. Just kidding. We still don't know where he is. But
he just flew away. He's on Titan or something, yo.
Yeah, right.
He just flew away.
I want to see Kate Bishop acknowledged as Hawkeye. I want to see Clint retire, and she takes up the mantle, and maybe she starts putting together a Young Avengers team. We've seen almost all of them now.
Yeah. I mean, who are we missing?
Hulkling.
Yeah.
We haven't seen Iron Lad, but we know the Kang variant.
Right.
We've seen Wiccan. We've seen Speed. We've seen
Patriot.
Kate Bishop. Who, Matt?
Patriot.
We've seen Patriot.
Hulkling. How does Hulkling show up? Because he's a Skrull, isn't he?
Honestly,
is he a Skrull? Or
I don't know. Yeah.
I don't know.
Because he was in the Empire event too. I think he's the king of the Skrulls. So maybe we get him in Secret Invasion.
Okay. There you go. It all ties back. It feels like we always go back to Secret Invasion at some point, right?
I'm psyched for that, man.
Building.
He's both. That's what it was, right?
Yeah,
he's a Kree and a Skrull. Is that his thing?
Yeah, they're doing a really good job. I'm excited. I want to know what's going on with the Watch too. What exactly is that?
The Watch
what the hell's with this Watch?
There's so much left. I just hope they don't. I hope they don't just just leave plot holes. Like, I just hope it carries into something else. You know.
All right, last question, and we'll get out of here.
Yeah.
Do we get an end credit scene, and what do you think it is?
Yes. It'll be maybe Contessa.
Contessa
setting
makes
up
no
whatever
sense.
she's
It's
setting
like
up.
The new Nick Fury, right?
Right.
Like a bad version.
Okay, hold on. we've been talking Echo. What's the other shows coming out? When's Secret Invasion come out? When does Marvels come out? Or fucking what's the other one?
Moon Knight,
do we
Miss
have
Marvel.
dates?
Huh?
What's up?
Do we even have dates for some of this stuff yet?
No dates.
So what's the stuff that's coming out next? I think they're gonna. I don't think teasing an Echo show is gonna blow people away. It's pretty obvious, and we've had her the whole time. So I would love to see a Secret Invasion tease, or even a She-Hulk tease. Maybe
We've seen
She-Hulk.
Secret Invasion already.
Maybe
That's true.
She-Hulk is the lawyer for Eleanor Bishop.
That's
or
not a bad.
whoever.
That's not a bad one right there.
Well, I'll tell you what, we need. Echo is not a strong enough character to hold that show on her own. So she's going to need Daredevil.
No, it's going to be a Daredevil / Echo show, like we talked. Just like this is a Hawkeye / Kate Bishop show. It's going to be the same thing.
Has to, right?
Yeah.
All right.
All right, guys.
Well,
Who wants to stay for the No Way Home after party?
Should I turn this off and then come right back and start another one?
Spoilers. No Way Home. I'm too tired for that shit. Yo.
Yeah, I'm tired too.
I'm dead.
All right, well, that's it, guys. I don't know.
Moon Knight, yo, that's the thing I forgot.
That would be dope. I would love.
We're
that.
not getting a Moon Knight tease. He doesn't
Street
even
level
fit.
shit. Is he street? Would you consider it more street level or it's more supernatural?
Street. Oh,
it's like Ghost Rider as both, right?
Yeah.
Well, they want to go horror, right? They want to go in that genre.
He's got to be street level though, because that's That's a good question. That's a good question. So, what do you think? We get is somebody we see on screen Vanessa? The last question, my question, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think
I would like to see Contessa. God, they still have to wrap up Yelena and Hawkeye too.
That's what I'm saying. But is somebody Fisk's? Is somebody Kingpin's main squeeze? Is it Eleanor? Is it Contessa? I said Vanessa, but I know it's
as Vanessa, not Contessa. I see.
Right.
I just want to see Kingpin. I don't care about that.
I know. I just want to, at this point, just give me a like 2 minute scene with him.
That's it. That's all. I don't know. They have a lot. They have a lot to cover next episode, and I mean, I'm gonna try like hell to be back, guys, next week. But we have to do Thursday night if you guys are just giving you that heads up, because Friday is Christmas Eve. So
yeah, I'm down.
First of all, my commentary is fire. MC Elite.
You got a fan.
Yeah.
MC Elite, kick some rocks, bro.
All right, so we all want to see Kingpin. We all want to see. I mean, we'll see what happens next week. That's it, guys. Anything you want to add, Matt? What do you got going on the channel?
Not a lot right now. We're just kind of doing live shows until the new year. We got some formatting changes coming up, so we're just taking it easy, having fun with the community. We go live this Wednesday, just hanging out, just doing some, whatever's in the news that week. We're gonna talk some CGC stuff this week because there's been some changes, so that'll be cool to talk a little bit of comic book stuff. We've been talking a lot of MCU, so I'd like to get back to the hobby a little bit. So that's what we're gonna be doing on this Wednesday's show. So that's it.
Yeah, I'm excited to make a submission and use the new submission process. I'm waiting for books from Erod. Jem, what do you got going on?
Speaking of getting back to comics and speaking of Wednesdays, for me, it's all about that Whatnot Wednesday. So I got a ton of X-Men books, man, coming up this Wednesday. Little classic X-Men 1.
Newsstand right there.
Newsstand joint. Got a little Bishop. First Bishop. We got a little first Gambit action. First full, or whatever you want to call it. We got a little Jubilee action. So got some dope X-Men books on deck, man. Some omnibus. I wish I had more than an hour, man. I'm going to have to start doing 2 days a week or something. But yeah, make sure you guys download Whatnot. Follow me on there. Follow Gary on there.
There is a link at the top. You get your $10 off.
I'm on there, but we ain't doing anything yet. Yeah,
you're there, but you're not selling yet. But yeah, so I'm this Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern, Whatnot.
There you go.
Nice.
Use Gary's link since we're on his channel and spend the $10. You know how many pending $10 I got sitting there?
Yo, samesies.
It adds up.
It does.
Did you just say samesies?
Yeah.
Yeah, I ain't coming on next week.
you never watched I forgot that movie. But anyway, guys, I've got my room tour video came out today. Next week, I'm going to do Incredicon, which is a little show. I have to do that video, and I don't know what else. Some other stuff. But we'll be back next week. We're going to try to do Thursday night. How's that sound? Good?
Yeah, man.
All right. With that, guys, thank you so much. Thank you, too. I'm excited for this finale. Very much. Have a good night, everyone. See you next week.